Alright, hear me out. Out of the blue, Sega decides, we have this Just Set Radio thing lying around and those small number of people won't shut up about it. Let's do something with it to shut them up. So, at some random gaming event, Sega teases something Just Set Radio related, showing Beats headphones or something. The trailer starts, the logos come up, you're excited, you can't believe it, Just Set Radio is finally getting a game after 2 decades, as of now anyways. The footage finally begins and it's a rhythm game, in the same vein as the Persona dancing games. Why'd you all get so quiet? Okay. Now I know that probably doesn't sound like something you would ever want to see from Just Set Radio. You want to see an actual Just Set Radio game, not some goofy spin-off. And yeah, I also want a brand new Just Set Radio game, especially if they could build off what Future had set. But hear me out on this though, because I think a game like this for Just Set Radio would be really cool if handled with care. I'm willing to advocate for this, so let's talk about why a Just Set Radio rhythm game spin-off would actually be very cool. We'll call the game Just Set Radio Dancing in Future Night. Yeah, we'll go with that. Okay, so let me ask you this. As a casual and hardcore fan of the series, what are the main aspects usually brought up when talking about Just Set Radio? One is definitely the music. Just Set Radio and Just Set Radio Future's soundtrack is so recognizable, even if you haven't played the games. People recognize the Just Set Radio sound and style. Hideki Naganuma and everyone else who took part in both soundtracks did an amazing job mixing in so many different styles to give Just Set Radio that distinguished sound. Sega probably knows this too. People are still loving these soundtracks to this day. That is a decent excuse to make a rhythm game for Just Set Radio. They can have the old tracks, remixes of said old tracks, even have some completely new ones specifically made for a game like this. Another thing that sticks out the most about Just Set Radio are the character designs and aesthetic. Look at these colorful cast of Rudies. All of them are so distinct and their designs are really reflective of their personalities. You could kind of make a guess of how each character would act just based on their look alone, especially in the original game's case where in Future, the characters had a chance to flesh out their characters. We'll get to that in a little bit. Imagine the entire cast getting a new redesign or costumes. My favorite thing about the Persona dancing games are all the sick new outfits the entire cast gets. Makoto Yuki, Narukami, and Ren wearing their school uniforms with some sick new kicks and headphones to go along with it. Akihiko brings out the aspect of him of being a boxer with his red hoodie. Naoto's outfit showed more of her feminine side to show a progression in her character. Ryuji and Kanji are more wild looking and fit their delinquent styles. A lot of the designs in the Persona dancing games can pass off as their own Just Set Radio character designs. They can definitely do the same for a Just Set Radio rhythm game. I even have my own ideas for what the GGs would wear. This is going to be all based on their looks from Future, so keep this in mind. B. He should keep most of his design. Beat's Future design is perfect as it is. There's only one thing I would add for Beat, and it would be a black varsity jacket. You know, something that cool kids and bad boys usually wear in those cliched high school and college settings. He would have his symbol on the back of his jacket, and on the side of his jacket, he would have his symbol from the original game as a callback. Gum. I actually really liked her redesign from the cancelled Wii game. The hoodie and the torn shorts with her hair grown out, leading more into a tomboy side of Gum, which really suits her well. I actually would like to maintain this design with one slight change. I would like to keep that player, heartbreaker, teasing aspect of her character that was never explored in Just Set Radio Future. So I would just have the zipper be slightly zipped down to show more of her chest, to show that she's still trying to charm people and play with their hearts. Kinda like what Misuru's doing in this outfit, Marin Karan type beat. Korn. His change would be a very small one. I would like to see his hair grow out more, then he wraps his jacket around his waist, much like how Junpei is doing with his outfit. Yo-Yo, he only needs a small change, his hoodie color. I think let's go with an orange hoodie as a callback to his hair color in the original game. Let him have the hood over his head, and he'd also have some bootleg headphones around his neck because he likes counterfeit brands. Roboy, honestly, just put a crown on his head and a gold chain around his neck. Or lack thereof. just to make him feel even more like an egotistical jerk now because he has a crown on his head and he feels like the king and the master of the dance floor. As an added bonus, Potts is going to be wearing a small version of Yo-Yo's Just Set Radio Future hoodie, much like how Koromaru is wearing Ken's old jacket in Persona 4 Arena Ultimax. Combo. Alright, hear me out. Combo is going to grow an afro, blue-haired afro. He's going to rock out with a 70s jumpsuit, chain still on his neck, boombox always in his arms. It will look completely ridiculous, but man, Combo would definitely rock it. The Tiger Jackson type beat. Riff. This one I've been thinking about for a while. I would like to see Riff dressed as an idol like Rise. The idol look would be perfect for her kind of character. Her color scheme would be cyan. She'll keep her blue and cyan stockings and have blue heels. This time her bra will actually be where it should be. I have a headcanon that Riff would probably be a VTuber and she would be cosplaying as her VTuber model, Garam. For him, I'd actually like to revert back to his original design. Let him be shirtless and have the shorts and the necklace back, but he's going to be wearing a vest this time, leaving it open. Boogie. Or maybe they'll change her name again, who knows. Boogie went through the most drastic redesign out of all the other characters. One significant change that I've noticed is her hairstyle. The braided locks in the original game and then to the blonde ponytail braids. I think it would be cool if she had the double buns hairstyle like this, and then have this outfit inspired by R&B singer Aaliyah. As a callback, she could have her goggles from the original game around her neck. Soda. He doesn't really need a change. His design is perfect enough, honestly, for his type of character. All I would really do is, I'd probably make his jacket a bright green. One thing though is, I think he would probably have a goatee if he ever decides to pull down his jacket to uncover his mouth. Jazz. I already think Jazz is a perfect design for being the most casual looking of the group. I think after her Life and Death Deathball game, she tried to get more into extreme sports seriously. She would wear a sports bra with some joggers, have some elbow pads on, and of course she has to keep the trademark scarf. Sometimes she would put the scarf over her mouth to feel cool. Cube. I want her to go even more goth. A fishnet top with a black bra, a choker, and some ripped black jeans. She also has to have a bang over her eye. Oh, that would look so good on her. And now, Clutch. To keep with his laid-back nature, I can see him wearing a red muscle shirt and some cargo shorts. Also, let that man rock with his chain on. Just let him wear it, please. Earlier, I had brought up that the cast felt more fleshed out in terms of their personalities, and that's thanks to Just Set Radio Future. The characters in that game have a large amount of dialogue, and they always speak about what's going on in each chapter. The dialogue helped them show off their personalities and feel more like characters instead of just extensions of the player. Are they the most super in-depth characters in the world? No, but it's definitely enough to make them distinct. I go in depth in a previous video about how much Just Set Radio Future gave the GGs a personality with their many dialogue interactions. They can show this off in a rhythm game like this. Another thing I love about the Persona dancing games is that every character has their own unique dancing styles. Knowing how quirky, weird, and abstract Yusuke can be, his dance moves reflect that, and applying her charms and looks to do a very sexy kind of dance, which also reflects the femme fatale aspect of her character. Kanji powering up and being super aggressive, Mitsuru showing her elegance in her dance moves coming from a very high profile family. You can definitely do this for the characters of Just Set Radio as well. Riff is a very bubbly and playful character, so she would be very jumpy, to also reflect her idol girl persona. Clutch is nonchalant and rarely takes things seriously. He would be very calm and won't do any crazy dance moves, just being laid back and kinda lazy with his movement. Cube, as a callback to being the leader of Rapid 99, who were also a band previously, I could see her applying a very sensual dance like she's in a nightclub in 99th Street, but is also very aggressive and dominant with her steps and expressions like a rock star. I could see Boogie taking off some belly dances, which I think would work really well for her if you notice how she moves when she dances, especially with her hips. The characters can even have a fever time. Think about Yo-Yo and Garam, the mischievous prankster dynamic duo, doing a duet together in the same vein as Narukami and Yosuke. Cube and Combo can join together as a callback. Combo can be Cube's hype man beside her as she dances. Riff's happy attitude and peppy steps bouncing off Gum's more serious nature, and Riff's happiness will start rubbing off on Gum as she starts following her routine. A duet between Beat and Korn as rivals, with Beat challenging Korn that he's going to be the leader of the GGs one day. A friendly competition. So many combinations of characters that can go together in a routine for such a lot of fun interactions. In terms of gameplay, the one I've been thinking about that would work most for a Jet Set Radio rhythm game would be, of course, the Persona Dancing games, but also maybe Hatsune Miku's Project Diva games. Now, here's a big thing. Would this game have some sort of story mode? Yes, it would. I did like how Persona 4 Dancing did its story mode. The visual novel aesthetic is nice, and the overall story that was being told wasn't too bad. The main issue I had with how Persona 4 Dancing's story was being told was that characters did a lot of inner monologuing that dragged on the story more than it should. It's not a bad way of showing what characters are thinking, but it just got a little too excessive at times. Let the dialogue do the talking for the characters. Persona 3 and Persona 5 Dancing didn't really have a story. There was a setup, but there was nothing more to it than that. What they did have though was a social link system similar to the RPG games after doing some certain requirements. You get to see the characters interact with each other. While it was mostly fan service, it was just nice seeing the characters just chatting it up and hanging out. I think that would be a fun unlocking incentive to play throughout the game's story mode or achieving certain requirements. We can have stuff like Beat asking Gum what made her decide to be a heartbreaker. We can get some backstory from her on that. Yo-Yo and Garum bonding over the funniest pranks and what they would do to prank their friends. Have Combo talking to Cube about why she moved from Rappin' 99 to be Poison Jam's leader. Clutch can ask Soda for his help with his entrepreneurship business, but Soda knows it's a scam and tries to find every excuse not to help him. With the large cast we have, you can have a lot of interaction with characters who never got to talk to each other in Jet Set Radio Future. That can also apply to all the rival games as well you can unlock throughout the story mode. Also, if they drop Hayashi DLC, would you buy him just to see him dance? I know I would, much like seeing Adachi dancing. I spent all this time talking about a story mode, but I haven't talked about the story yet. It might sound ridiculous, but this is the one I came up with. Whew, here we go. 1 year after the events of Jet Set Radio Future with the defeat of Goji Rikaku, the GGs had decided to go their separate ways for a little bit after saving the world. Not that they had a falling out, but just to move forward in their lives. They're still in contact with each other and are still great friends. Summertime rolls around and the GGs meet back up together for a reunion, catching up with each other on what they've been doing for the last year. Some have gone back to finish school, got a job, been part of some big events, that sort of thing. DJ Professor K hears about the GG's reunion because he's got all the sources, so he decides to host a big reunion party for them in 99th Street to celebrate. The GGs are at first a little hesitant on it since they were never ones to want to be in the limelight after saving the world, but Korn insists they just go to have fun and party now that they're together to spend the summer with each other. The party goes well until it's stopped by the Rikaku group, now being led by its new chairman, the daughter of Goji Rikaku. We'll call her Leiko Rikaku. Remember at the end of the original game where Goji's son took over the business? It's essentially that, but I decided to go with her daughter instead. I chose the name Leiko Rikaku because that's actually the name of the OC I made from my own Jet Set Radio fanfic. I'll put a link in the description to that, but let's get back on track. The Rikaku group comes to shut down the party, Leiko feeling extra pissed towards the GGs for killing her dad, and in her mind, thinks that Rudies like them are the problem with today's world. Leiko uses the power of the Devil's Contract record, remember that from the original game, to brainwash the civilians around Tokyo and turn them into the shadows from that demon world. Leiko wants to use the power of the people's corrupted souls in the hopes to revive Goji and get revenge on the GGs. The GGs are obviously not going to allow that, so through the power of Jet Set Radio's music and the souls of the streets within them, they use the power of breakdancing and graffiti to fight back against the Rikaku group as well as the rival games who want their payback against the group. Is it cheesy and ridiculous? Yes, but considering what happens in Jet Set Radio, is it really out of the ordinary? Not really. So, that's my idea for a Jet Set Radio rhythm game spinoff. I don't know what else to say to end off the video on, so here's a compilation of Persona characters dancing to Jet Set Radio music to give you an idea of what Jet Set Radio Dancing Future Night could potentially look like.
Could you stop playing with that radio of yours? I'm trying to get to sleep. Could you stop playing with that radio of yours? I'm trying to get to sleep.
Make it complicated. have to make it complicated.
I like it.
Let's subtract.